Okay. So, we have here, class, our integral and zero exponents. So, as you can see sa atong ebook, we have there the review of integral exponents and the zero exponents. And then we have the last one as well, which is um, all about fractional exponents. So, ma-catch up rin tanan in this PPT. So, here, we are going to have a review first of our laws of exponents. So, if you can still remember when you were in grade 7, um, these laws of exponents were discussed by your teacher already. So, let's have a quick review lang. So, if you can remember, how many laws of exponents do we have? Pila de kabok atong laws of exponents?
6.
6, 2, isa pa. Na ay duol-duol kalimot. Kalimot.
7.
7.
7 siya.
Okay. So actually we have only 5. So we have here 5 laws of exponents. So as you can see there, we have the product of a power. We have quotient of a power, power of a power, power of a product, and power of a quotient. So when we say product of a power class is what we're going to do, i-multiply nimo ang duha ka exponent, um, duha ka exponent, and then ang ilahang operation is multiplication, but what you are going to do with the exponent is just to simply add. Okay? I-add yun nimo iyahang exponent. So you will have there, as you can see, a raised to m times a raised to n is equals to a raised to m plus n. So it should be there, this one, kanisiya, is the same. Okay, the same ang iyahang base. So, kani siya mo ni siya tong base, kanang number diha, well, ang kanang naa sa babaw, it's we call that one as our exponent. Okay, tricky biya niya tong exponent ha, basta multiplication gani iyahang operation. Unsay buhaton sa exponent? I-multiply pud ba ang exponent?
I-add.
Okay, i-add. So, for example, you have there 2 raised to 8 times 2 raised to 2. Pila answer? 2 raised to 8 times 2 raised to 2. Pila man na siya? That is 4. Unsay 4? Makita man na to diya. We have a raised to m times a raised to n is equals to a raised to m plus n. So, unsa man natong gibuhat ana niya?
Addition.
Okay, gi-add na tong exponent. So, ang exponent niya nga 8 diri, add nimo sa 2. So, you will have there 10. And then, kanay lang base class, di na nimo siya i-multiply. Imurang kopyahon. So, you will have there 2 raised to 10. That would be your answer. Okay, basin wala naka-visualize ang uban. So, mao ni siya, no, atong pasabot. 2 raised to 2. Okay. So, you have there the same ilahang base, ang lang exponent kay 8 og 2, and then since multiplication man siya, so we are just going to add. Okay? So, questions for the first laws of exponent. Ay question? So, ayaw ni siya kalimti because you will use this for a lifetime. Sagasa ni siya magamit ninyo. Okay? So now let's proceed with the next one. So we have here for number 2, quotient of a power. So when we say quotient of a power class, this is already the reciprocal of product of a power. So as you can see there, we have a raised to m over a raised to n. Ang iyahang equivalent kuno class is a raised to m minus n. So this time, kung division gani ang iyahang kuan class, ang iyahang operation, ang imong buhaton sa ilang exponent is 2 subtract. Okay? Remember that the same base gihapon na class ha, the same dapat ilang base. Kung 2 ni siya diri, 2 pud ang kanina sa ubos nimo. Well, ang kanimo exponent, like for example, you have there 2 raised to 3 and then this one is 2 raised to 2. So, imo ra na siyang i-subtract. Okay? So, for example, you have there this one. 2 raised to 3 and then you have there i-divide nimo siya 2 raised to 2. So, what will happen is imong i-subtract, i-copy ang base and then i-subtract ang exponents. So, you will have there mo na siyang i-simplify. So, 3 minus 2, that is 1. Or you can just simply put 2. Okay ra, wala na siya yung 1. Basta yung exponent kay 1. So, that is quotient of a power. Dapat same ilahang base ha. The same sa katong product of a power. Next one, we have here power of a power. So, when we say power of a power class, is usara ang ilahang base, but naana siya parentheses, and then naana po siya laing exponent sa gawas. So, this time, mauna ni siya nga time nga mag-multiply na kasi mohang exponents. So, you have there a raised to m quantity n. So, kana siya, copy the base nga a, and then multiply m times n. Okay, so let me show you an example. So you have there, for example, 3 raised to 2 and then erase pagyud siya og 3. So kani siya, imo na siyang i-multiply. So you have there 3 imong base and then i-multiply nimo ang 2 times 3. So you will have there your answer as 3 raised to 6. Yes, very good. And the door. Okay, that is the third power or the third law of exponent. Power of a power. Nakasunod ra ba or na questions? Okay. So, next one we have here power of a product. Okay, so when we say power of a product class, this time we have 2 nakabuok nga base and then isa lang ang exponent. So as you can see here, we have a times b, kani siya base ni siya class ha base. And then this one, ang nasa gawas, that is an exponent. So ang buhaton ninyo class is you're going to do a distributive property. So since ang imuhang exponent na aman sa gawas, and then imo man na siyang multiply man ang naa diri, so imong buhaton is imo na siyang i-distribute. So as you can see, you have there a raised to m, b raised to m. Okay? Multiply gyapon a raised to m, b raised to m. Okay? So, imo ra siyang i-distribute imuhang m nga exponent. Okay. Let's just say, for example, 4 times 2. And then, you have there raised to 3. So, imong buhaton, imo ra na siyang i-distribute. So, you have there 4 raised to 3, and then 2 raised to 3. Okay, so that is for our fourth nga laws of exponent. Okay, so kani siya class, actually this one is not totally the final answer because pwede man na nato siyang what do we call this one, ma-simplify. But later on is ma-apply na nato siya sa atong zero o sa ato ang integral later on. Okay? Pero inana ang noun sa ato ang laws of exponent. And now down to the last one, we have here power of a quotient. So when we say power of a quotient, you have there quantity A over B and then raised to M. So same gihapon, we are just going to distribute ang ato ang exponent. So you will have there A raised to M over B raised to M. Okay, so far, do you have any questions for our laws of exponents? Okay, na-remind ra no? So ayo jud ni sila kalimti. Because this will be used in all of your algebra classes. Okay? Algebra na ani siya. So we have here in the process of performing the laws of exponents, it may result to a positive, negative, or zero exponents. So in this lesson, you're going to learn how to simplify expressions with integral. So this integral, when we say integral, that is positive or negative integers, or we're going to have the zero exponent applying the different laws of exponents. So this one is your basis class if you are going to simplify integral and zero exponents. So you can take note of this. You can take a photo so that later on makasubay ta sa ato ang discussion. Okay? Sige. You can take a screenshot in 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, mana? Now, let's proceed with our zero exponent. So, actually, this zero exponent class is one of the easiest among all in simplifying your exponents. Okay? So, we have here, simplify the expression A raised to 2 over A raised to 2. So you're going to write this expression in the factored form as well. You can write this one. So imo siyang buwagon. So that is A times A over A times A. So kung imong mag-cancel ka dira, since division man na siya, that is equivalent to 1. 'Di ba? So unsa gani ni siya nga kuan class, unsa nga law of exponent atong ma-apply ani? Sige daw, check out your screenshot. Kaning, okay, we have there na answer sa chat. We have quotient of a power. Very good. So, ma-apply na to ang quotient of a power, di ba? So, unsa ganito atong buhaton? Basta same ilahang base and then division siya. Mag-add ba ta? Mag-multiply? Mag-divide? Or mag-subtract?
Subtract.
Okay, subtract. So actually, if we are just going to subtract both of this, ang result ana niya class is a raised to 0. 'Di ba? That is a raised to 0. So ang kani siya, factored form lang ni siya, that is equivalent to 1. Makita dayon nato siya kay ato man siyang gibuwag. Like makancel nimo siya, makancel nimo siya, and then equivalent to 1. So, kung atong i-apply atong exponent nga quotient of a power class, that is, di ba, mag-subtract ta because ikuan man nato siya kay same man siya og base. So, 2 times 2, that 2 minus 2, that is a raised to 0. So, here, makuha na nato ang 0 nga exponent. And remember that 0 of, if the exponent is 0, your answer is always equal to 1. Okay? If your exponent is 0, that is equivalent to 1. Okay? Thus, for any number or any variable a, where a is not equal to 0, a raised to the power of 0 is equal to 1. Bisag unsa pa nakadako ang imuhang base diha class kanang a, kaning a pwede na siyang ma-interchange. Like for example, kung 1 million is siya, 1 million raised to 2 over 1 million raised to 2, kung kana siya 0 iyahang exponent nga makuha, ang equivalent gihapon ana niya is 1. Okay? Remember ha, bisag unsa pa na kadako ang iyahang base diha, basta ma-equivalent ganiyang exponent og 0, that is equivalent to 1 only. Nasabtan ba ang zero exponent? Okay, very good. Now here, we can see some examples. R, nagunsa ka diya, R. Naog dito, R. So we have here some examples. So as you can see, we have 12x raised to 0. So as you can see, di ba, na siya exponent nga 0. And then you have there the variable x. So that is 12 times 1. Kaya ang kani siyang x raised to 0, that is equivalent to 1 man. So multiply 12 times 1, that is equivalent to 12. So remember that only variable x is raised to 0 power. Okay, remember ha, ang kana rang na ay 0 nga power ang mag-equivalent og 1. Ang kanang 12 lahi na siya class kay kung ato ning buwagon ang kaniatong 12 x raised to 0, that is kuan man. Mura man kaga-multiply ana. So ang hitabuan na mura na siya ginani. 12 times x raised to 0. Okay? So, nag-multiply ka. So, 12 times, kani siya ka-equivalent to 1 man. So, 12 times 1, that is equivalent to 12. So, that is how you simplify zero exponent. So, ma-apply po ninyo ang learnings sa algebra ani. Okay? Dili meaning ana niyang kaning inaniha nga 12x raised to 0 kay ang kanipod siya 0, ang yang exponent diri dili. Okay? Ang katurang ma 0 is kung naa siya katong parentheses, which is katong power of a power. Okay. Now, let's go to the next example. So we have there 12x raised to 0. Mao na ni siya kung giingon, which is power of a product. So, you have there, kung kanina ganiyahang forma, quantity 12x, and then raised to 0, that's the time iyahang equivalent kay 12 raised to 0, x raised to 0. Okay, kay remember ha, ang kana ganing constant og variable class, buwag man na sila in multiplication nga operation. This is constant, this is variable man. So, you will have there 12 raised to 0 and then x raised to 0. So, imo na siyang i-simplify, kani siya kay 1. And then, ang kani pong x raised to 0 is 1. So, the answer there, or your simplified answer is equivalent to 1. So, applying the law of power of a product, so both 12 and x are raised to 0 power. Okay? Nakasubay ra ba? Naa pa ba ang katong kopya sa laws of exponent? Kay gamit kay to siya, especially kung mag-simplify ta. Question so far? Wala ra? How about the others?
None sure.
None.
Okay. Now, let's move to our next example. Okay, very good. So, we have here x raised to 0 plus 3, and then quantity x plus 3 raised to 0. So, kani siya class, di man iha kung asara ang naay raised to 0 ana. So, we have here kani siya, that is equivalent to 1. And then, mag-plus ra kag 3, kay wala man siya exponent diri sa gawas. So, plus 3. And then here, di ba, kani siya kay, ma-distribute man ni siya. Kaya naman sa gawas ng exponent. So, you will have there, x raised to 0 plus 3 raised to 0. So, 0 plus, 1 plus 1. So, you will have there, 1 plus 3, that is 3. And then times 1, that is equal to 4. So you have there the expression x plus 3 is raised to a power of 0. So it is equal to 1. So power of 0 man siya. So equivalent yapon siya into 1. So that is your example number 3. Now for number 4, here is we're going to simplify this. You have there 45a raised to 4 and then b raised to 2 over 5a raised to 4 and then b. So unsa nga laws of exponent atong ma-apply ani niya class? Unsa nga laws of exponent atong ma-apply niya?
Quotient of a power tree.
Okay, quotient of a power. So kung quotient of a power class is imo na siyang divide.
So,
So mag-subtract pud ka sa iyahang mga naay exponent. So i-divide nimo ang whole number while ang naay exponent is imo siyang i-subtract. So kani siya class, you can see here sa solution, we have 45 divided by 5. Di ba dili man sila same og dili man sila same og exponent. No, di sila the same og base. So imo na siyang i-divide. So 45 divided by 5, that is 9. Okay? And then kani siya imong i-subtract ilahang exponent. So you have there a raised to 4 and then minus 4 kay 4 man sad gihapon ang nasa ubos. So mo na siya. While here you have b raised to 2 minus 1. So kung ato siyang i-simplify, you have there 9a raised to 0 and then b. So kani siya kay ma-equivalent to 1 raman na siya. So manang nahibilin diha is 9b. Kay 9 times 1, that is 9. And then b, you have there 9b. So that is how you're going to simplify if you are having this law of exponent, which is a power of a quotient. Okay? So, lahi ang power of a quotient and quotient of a power class, ha? Lahi na siya. Kaya ang power of a quotient, lahi man ilahang base. While ang katong quotient of a power, which is kopyahon ra nimo ang base, ang kaning power of a quotient kay, lahi ilang base and then imo siyang i-divide or imo siyang i-simplify. Nasabtan ba? Sige, question so far. Mo lang ako jung gipa screenshot ninyo ang katong laws of exponent para naamoy bases. And I think naka-remember rapod mo kay lesson man ko ninyo siya before. Okay. Wala'y pangutana.
Wala.
wala
Okay.
Archer, wala ra.
Now let's proceed with the next example. Here we are going to simplify 2a raised to 0 plus quantity 2a raised to 0 plus 2 0a or 2 raised to 0a. So kani siya if na subaybayan na ninyo ang ato ang mga examples sa babaw is the same rigid na siya. So kani siya you have there 2 times a raised to 0 that is equivalent to 1. So mo na siyang 2 times 1. And then you have there kani siya that is equivalent to 1 nagyapon na siya. Kay iyang exponent 0 man sa gawas. And then plus, you have there 2 raised to 0, that is 1. And then ang kaning a, just copy. So imo na din na siyang i-simplify. 2 times 1, that is 2. And then plus 1 plus a. So you will have there your answer. 2 plus 1, that is 3. And then plus a. So remember class ha, dili na ninyo siya ibutang as 3a. Lahi ng 3a, lahi po na siyang 3 plus a. So kung nagay kay plus diha class, dili na nimo ma-combine ang constant o variable. Ma-combine ra nimo ang constant o variable kung multiplication. Okay? Like for example, kung kani siya diri is 2 plus 1 times a, that's the time your answer is 3a. But here, since naman kay plus diha nga makita, buwag na siya. 3 plus a. Remember ha, you cannot combine constant and variable if the operation is addition. Unless kung multiplication, pwede nimo siyang itapad. Questions for the fifth example. So, take note mo ato akong giingon ha, nga dili ma-combine ang constant o variable. Kung addition. Okay. Pwede ninyo siyang isuwat sa inyong papel. Sag binisayon pa ninyo para madali ninyong masabtan. Okay? Kay kuan ba ning simplify class? Ang pag-simplify sa exponents kay tricky kay siya. Manang you have to know every deets good or the details. Now, down to our last example class. So, yara ha, kay nalubat ko. So, down to our last example, you have there, simplify 4m quantity n minus p raised to 0. And then you have there 4m raised to 0. So, imara na siyang i-simplify, same sa itong gibuhat kanina. So, 4m, and then this one is equivalent to 1. And then you have there 4 times 1. Kay m raised to 0 is 1 man. And then, kani siya, ma-apply na dayon nimo ang unsa nga power, unsa nga rule or law. That is, product of a power. Quotient of a power. Kay same man ilahang base. So, imo na siyang kuan kani siya ma-cancel. And then, ang mabilin diha is m na lang. Kay makancel siya class kay di man sila pareha og variable. Wa may variable ang ubos. So, kani siya makancel, ang mabilin is m. So, that is for our example for, or those are our examples for zero exponents. So, inanao na to siya pag-simplify. Questions? Clarifications? Violent reactions?
None.
Okay, none lang. Sige. Now, di ba ningon ko kanina nga those laws of exponents can be applied in both zero and integral exponents. And then when we say zero exponent, na siya zero sa babaw. Well, when we say integral, we have their positive and negative exponents. So that is the next part of the lesson. So integral exponents class is an expression that has an integral exponent if the exponent is either positive or negative integers. So, pwede positive yung exponent, pwede negative yung exponent. So, the expressions like 3x, 5x raised to negative 2 plus 2, we have there m raised to negative 8 are examples or expressions with integral exponents. Because as you can see, kani siya, yung exponent kay 1, dili negative 2. Kani kay, kung na kay whole number class, ang exponent ana niya is raised to 1. Okay, raised to 1, and then this one is negative 8. So, it's either positive or negative. So, those are examples of integral exponents. Now, one of the laws of exponent is quotient of a power, which is makita na to us like this. So, you have there a raised to m over a raised to n is equals to a raised to m minus n. So, kaning ato ang quotient of a power class is also one of the use gyud, especially sa ato ang integral exponents. Okay? So, let's try to apply this quotient of a power as an example sa ato ang integral exponent. So, you have there x raised to 4 over x raised to 2. That is, kung ato siyang i-simplify, di ba, that is x raised to 4 minus 2 man. Kay same sila og variable or base, and then ang ilahang exponent ra ang atong i-subtract. Okay, so ato siyang i-subtract. So we have there x So you have there 4 minus 2. So you will have there, kung ato siyang i-simplify, that is x raised to 2. Kay 4 minus 2, that is 2 man. Okay? So you can use also the factoring to check. So kung ato siyang imog factoring or ato siyang binagsaon, so natay upat ka x daw. So 1 times x times x times x times x. And then sa tong denominator, we have there x times x. So kung mag-cancel ka ana niya, so kani siya imong tangtangon kani ang mabilin diha is x times x, which is x is raised to 2. So same ra gyapon na siya pamaagi, pero kung ganahan kag mas dali gyud i-apply ang laws of exponent. Kaya sa factoring, basin taas kayong number diha raised to 100 na siya, magsuwat pa kag 100 ka x. Okay? So, mo na siya ang first application. So, as you can see, ang result nato is positive nga exponent. So, under gyapon siya sa integral. Okay? Remember ha, kung mag-minus ganita class, it should be ang exponent sa numerator minus exponent sa denominator. Okay? Dili pwede nga 2 minus 4 atong buhaton diha. It should be ang sa numerator minus the denominator. Questions for this first example?
None.
Okay, none lang. Sige. Now, let's go to the next one. So, kani siya. Same gyapon ha. Kuan gyapon siya. Nga quotient of a power. So, this time, gibali ato ang example ganina class. So, di ba x raised to 4 over x minus raised to 2 man to. Karon, x raised to 2 over x raised to 4. Lahi ang answer ani niya class ha. So, manang you have there equals, kung ato siyang i-minus, di ba, ningon ta, exponent sa numerator minus exponent sa denominator. So, x raised to 2 minus 4. So, ang answer ana niya class, kung ato siyang i-apply ang integer, 2 minus 4, that is x raised to negative 2. Okay? That is x raised to negative 2. So, kung exponent gani mo is negative class, we can also use the factoring or the factoring to simplify the expression. So, kung imong buhaton class, kung mag-factoring ka, di ba, maumani siya. Ang x raised to 2, that is x times x. And then, ang x raised to 4, that is x times x times x. So, kung ato ni siyang i-cancel, ang mabilin sa babaw is 1. Okay? Ang mabilin sa babaw is 1. And then, ang mabilin sa ubos kay duha ka x. So, you will have there x raised to 2. So, the final answer of our x raised to negative 2 class is 1 over x over 1 over x raised to 2. So, remember that our expression gani class, kung negative gani ang exponent, dili ta mo stop niya. Okay? Kung negative iyang exponent, dili ta mo stop niya. Ang atong buhaton is, kuhaon na to iyahang reciprocal para ma-positive ang iyahang answer. Okay. So, how do you do that one? Ako siya ipakita using Jamboard ha. So, you have there x raised to negative 2. So, naanagay kay na ani nga answer class, dili ka mo stop ani niya. So, imong buhaton, di ba, ang kaning x raised to negative 2 kay, kung ato siya imoon into fraction, di ba, mauman niya ha. X raised to negative 2 over 1. So, ato na siyang imuon og reciprocal niya class. And then, inika-reciprocal ni mo, ma-positive iyahang kani, which is iyahang exponent. So, ang may tabo, ang equivalent ana niya is 1 over x raised to 2 na. Okay? Okay. Okay? Ato na siyang gi-reciprocal. Para ma-positive iyahang exponent. Sige, questions. Questions for this. Ayaw kalimot ha, basta negative ang exponent, i-reciprocal para ma-positive ang exponent. Mabutang sa denominator and then ma-positive. Wala ra? Like questions? Okay. The negative sign in the exponent means the reciprocal. So thus, a raised to n is equals to 1 over a raised to n. So similarly, if the expression with negative exponent is in the denominator, get its reciprocal to express the exponent as positive. Therefore, 1 over a raised to negative n, that is equivalent to a raised to n. So, di ba, mao man ni siya tong example ganina. Kung ang ato ako nung exponent kay, for example, in ani rayang forma, sorry, so x raised to negative 2. Kuhaon mo yung reciprocal, that is 1 over x raised to 2. So, what if, ang imong example kay kani, 1 over x raised to negative 3, kuhaon lang yapon nimo yung reciprocal. So, unsa may bali niya para mo positive? That is x raised to 3. Okay? So, kung denominator ang negative exponent, so may mo siyang inani kay reciprocal man nimo siya. Bali. So, mo na siya ipasabot sa atong negative exponent. So, remember ha, don't stop if your exponent is negative. Questions? Clarifications? Wala ra. Wala.
Wala, Archer?
Okay, wala ra. Now, let's go to our next example. We have here simplified 3x cubed y raised to 6 over x raised to 5 y raised to 4. So, this is still in our law of exponent, which is power of a quotient. So, ang atong buhaton is simplify. So, unsa ka atong unang buhaton diha, class? So, you have there whole number nga 3. Diri, waman tayo whole number nga 3. So, meaning to say, divide ra na to siya 1. So, you will have there, kani siya 3 divided by 1, and then kani, mag-subtract na ta, kay subtraction man, basta division, di ba? So, x raised to 3 minus 5, and then you have there y raised to 6 minus 4. So, makita na nato siya diri, class. So, kung mag-divide gani kag in any class, kung asa ang mas dako og exponent is adto ka mag-do sa iyahang subtraction. Like for example, the exponents each variable. So, let the variable with greater exponent remain in its position but subtract the smaller exponent from the larger exponent. So, di ba, diri sa ato ang x raised to 3 o x raised to 5. Asa ang mas naidako nga exponent? Numerator, denominator?
Denominator.
Okay, denominator. So, imo ra nang i-stay diha imong x minus 5, x raised to 5, and then ang katong exponent nimo sa numerator is diha ka mag-subtract. So, you have there x raised to 5 minus 3. And then, ang kanisa to ang y raised to 6 and y raised to 4. Di ba, mas dako man ang naa sa babaw. Sakto ba? Kay 6 man. So, arita mag-subtract sa babaw. So, 6 minus 4. So, kung ato siya i-simplify, class, you will have there 3y raised to 2 over x raised to 2. Questions? Yaman iha, greater exponent remain in its position but subtract the smaller exponent from the larger one. Clarifications? Wala ra? Goods ra? Okay. So, very good. I think walay na disconnect, no? I really hope so. But, kung naamang gani, tabangin ninyo siya pa sa. Okay. Now, down to our last example, pero nani siya upat ka buok ang gihatag. So, express all exponent to positive integers. So, positive integers. So, ang given ano niya class is mo ni siya. 28a raised to 5b raised to 6 c over 7a raised to 5b raised to 4 c raised to 3. So, ato na siyang i-simplify class. Pwede ra gyud mong mag-cancel-cancel bitaw gyud ani. Pwede ra gyud na siyang mag-cancel-cancel mo. So, tulan to mo sa one of the easiest way. So, ako sa siyang kopyahon ha. 28a5 and then you have there b6c over 7a5 and then b4 and then c3. So, ang inyong buhaton ana niya class, if you're just going to cancel out, so kani siya, imo na siyang i-divide. So, dako man ang numerator, so meaning to say, ari sa atong babaw ang kuan, ang answer. So, 28 divided by 7, that is 4. And then, here, kani siya, makancel na siya diretso class. Kay 1 raman gyapon na siya. So, makancel na siya. And then, kani, b raised to 6 and then b raised to 4. So, ika-subtract na to. Kung asa ang dakong exponent, adto ra na to ibutang atong answer. So, you have there b raised to 2. Then, kani, c and then c raised to 3. So, mas dako man ang exponent diri. So, ari ra ta magbutang sa tong answer. So, naman kay 3 minus or 1 minus 3, that is 2. So, ana ra. So, mo na siya imong final answer. So, mag-cancel-cancel ra sad ang one of the ways to answer this one. Okay? So, actually, pwede ra siyang mamata-mata sad. And next one, we have here, kanisiya. Same sa tong example ganina. So, we have here 5 minus 2 raised to 5 times 3 raised to negative 3 plus 5 plus 2 raised to 0. So, kani siya, ato ni siyang i-simplify. So, you will have there 5 minus 2, that is 3. Then, naman siya exponent sa gawas na 5. So, you have there 3 raised to 5. Okay? So, same ra na siya class ha kung imo na siyang imo na siyang i-distribute. Diba, ningon man tangay, distribute na to ni siya. So, 5 raised to 5, and then this one minus 2 raised to 5. So, same ra na siya kay, pareha naman gyapon siyang exponent pod. So, kung ganahan kag mas dali, pwede nimo siyang i-subtract daan ang nasa sulod using PEMDAS kay parenthesis man una. So, 5 minus 2, that is 3. And then raised to 5. And then times, kani siya, 3 raised to negative 3 copy lang. And then ang kani siyang part diri is equivalent to 1 ramani. So, plus 1. So, imo na din na siyang i-simplify class. So, kani siya, 3 raised to 5 times 3 raised to negative 3, di ba? Same ilahang base. So, ma-apply nimo ang atuang law of exponent nga product of a power. So, same man nilang exponent. So, ilahang base, not exponent. So, same man ilang base. So, just copy 3. And then, imo na din i-simplify. Unsa gito buhaton? Basta multiplication?
Addition.
Okay, addition. So, imong i-add 5 plus negative 3. That is positive 2. So, ang result ani niya is 3 raised to 2 and then plus 1. So, imong i-simplify imong 3 raised to 2. That is 9 because 3 times 3, that is 9. And then plus 1, that is equivalent to 10. So, your answer from this one is equal to 10. Okay? So that is how you are going to simplify integral exponents. So na-apply na nato diri ang na positive, na negative, na pag 0. Okay, now next one, we have here bracket quantity 8 raised to 2 and then raised to negative 1 times 10 minus 8 raised to 4 times 4 raised to negative 5. So, remember class that in each of your given, pwede kang maka-apply og various nga laws of exponent. So here, kani siya pwede na nimo siyang power to a power. So duha ang exponent. So imo i-multiply 2 times negative 1, that is negative 2. So dire 10 minus 8, that is 2, and then raised to 14. And then here, we have 4 raised to, nahimo na siyang from negative 5 to negative 2. So, typo ni siya, negative 2 na siya class. Okay, 4 raised to negative 2. And then, kani, simplify lang ni mo siya. So, kung ganan kag mas dali class, ang kaning 8 ni mo class, pwede gina ni mo siyang breakdown gani. Diba? If you're going to break down 8, that is 2 raised to 3. Because you have there 2 times 2 times 2, that is equivalent to 8. Okay? Pwede. And then, pwede po na mo siya kay magkuan manggod ta class, maglisod ta if we are going to get that one, kung ato siyang ilahos. So, manang i-breakdown to siya into 2 raised to 3, and then quantity raised to negative 2. And then, same po ani ang 4, gihimo siyang 2 raised to 2. So, nganong ginani na to siya class? So that all of your base are the same. And then, dali na lang nimo siyang pag-apply. So, di ba? Makita ninyo diri 2 na yung base. Kaya mo man na siya itong gigol. So that, dali na lang ninyo ma-apply ang ato ang gitawag nga product of a power. So, kani siya, power to a power, so 3 times negative 2, that is negative 6. Kani copy, and then kani 2 times negative 2, that is negative 4. So, if imo na siyang i-simplify class, pwede lang gid gihapon. So, negative 6 plus 14, and then plus negative 4. And then, you can get your answer as, kuan, that is 4. So, 2 raised to the power of 4 ang final answer niya. And 2 raised to the power of 4 class, that is equivalent to 16. So, ang final answer niya class is 16. Okay? So, that is for the second nga example. Third one day. So, remember ha, imo ra siyang gi-apply, gi-add nimo yung exponent. Negative 6 plus 14, that is 12. 12 ba? Yeah. 12. I know. 8, day 8. So, negative 6 plus 14, that is 8. And then, negative 4, that is 4. Yes, naara. And then, for the last one, pwede na ninyo siyang studyhan. Because late na, 10:05 naman. Okay? So, those are our zero and integral exponents. So far, do you have any questions? Naabay questions? Okay. So, kato ha, 1 week na kong i-open ang inyuhang quiz. So, I hope na maka-answer gyud ta. Okay. So, prepare as well. Makita rin ninyo sa inyong LMS later at 11 ang inyuhang activity for today. So, if no questions, I think we're going to end here. But if your buddies are these people, please tell them about sa kuan ha activity for today. Kinsa ganito? Bastida, Cadorna, Calapre, Compuesto, Cruz, Talon, Trazo, and Wenceslao. Change na sad body. Okay, dili, for the meantime lang kay dili pa man ta mag-study body for now. So karon lang, katong body ninyo pag last, ingna lang sila sa activity for today. And then no choice sila mag self-study na gyud sila. So kani atong gi-discuss karon. Pero try na kog upload ning video nga akong gi-screen record man tag dili batik. Okay? So thank you for today everyone and then see you next week. Goodbye.
Thank you, Chair. Goodbye.
Bye, Chair. Thank you.
Bye, sir. Thank you.
Bye, sir. Thank you.
Ano mas
Anyong.